Hey, everybody, coming at another episode with you from Sports Dietitian with Sean. So, today we're going to talk about what does a hydration timeline look like when it leads coming up to competition. So, what I have in front of you is a really quick and easy breakdown on how we should try to think about hydrating as we lead up to a specific event. So, we'll use an example just to make it easier. So let's say, for example, we have a basketball game at 7 o'clock. So first thing you want to think about when we're thinking about hydration is how should I get my hydration to the point where I'm what I usually recommend light like lemonade or pale yellow. We don't want your pee to be dark like apple juice because you're already dehydrated. And we also don't want your pee to be 100% completely clear. All right. Are we getting that pee into a good color where you're hydrated so that you're going to be in a good position leading up into that game at 7 o'clock? Now, the first and foremost thing that you should be doing as you're leading up to that game and throughout the day is the quickest, easiest thing you could do to see if your hydration is at where it needs to be is look at your pee. What color is your pee? Has it been dark all day? So I need to definitely pick up my hydration leading into this game. Have I been keeping it pale yellow and light like lemonade so I can ease myself as I get closer to the game time? Again, that's going to be a really big factor. Other things you can do is there's saliva testing, there's USG testing. So there is actual hydration testing you could do leading up to the game to see if you're within that right range. And that could help you with your dietitian or whoever you're working with develop a specific protocol of how much fluids or electrolytes you need. But again, if you just want to keep it super simple and that's too much for you, it's just what's my pee look like? And boom, use this quick and easy timeline. So if I'm 3 to 4 hours before a game, you want to try to get roughly 16 to 24 ounces of some type of fluid in. Again, thinking about we're getting close to a game, we need fluids, we need carbohydrates, and we need some type of electrolyte source. So that way we're pulling in and maintaining that fluid balance for our muscle tissue, for our body as we're getting closer to that specific game time. Now, again, it could be less than 16 ounces. It could be more than 24 ounces. Again, it's going to really depend where your hydration stat is leading up to that point. Now, once you get 1 to 2 hours for the game, 8 to 16 ounces. And when you're picturing these, right, you have these bottles on the very bottom. You know, a lot of athletes that are sponsored by Gatorade or even possibly Powerade, you know, they'll have these bottles that are 32 ounces. And you can see there's all these different dashes on the bottle, and that basically represents how many ounces I'm talking about. So if I go back to 16 to 24 ounces, you can see 16 ounces is half the bottle, 24 ounces is 3/4 of the bottle. If I'm getting 1 to 2 hours before the game, 16 ounces again, half the bottle, and then 8 ounces is 1/4 of the bottle. And the big thing you can notice when I go from 3 to 4 hours, 1 or 2 hours, less than, let's say, 30 to 60 minutes or less than 60 minutes, you can see the amount of fluid that I'm taking and getting closer to the game is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Right. One of the things we want to make sure we don't do is we don't want to chug down 24 ounces of fluid like 30 minutes before you have to go out into the court, out into the pitch, out into the field. Because now, one, if you just chugged all that fluid, right, and it's just rushing down there, it's going to feel heavy. You might feel slow, sluggish, sloshing feeling. And again, like I talked about in the other videos, one, that physical feeling of that may affect your mental play out in the game because all you're thinking about is that water sloshing in you. Or two, if you're going to go out and start doing high intensity activity in a game or in a practice or whatever it may be, even a lift, and you just chugged a whole bunch of fluid or water at one time, that may also make you feel pretty nauseous. And if you feel nauseous, you might get sick, you might throw up. If you throw up, now you're possibly having to get taken out of a game, taken out of practice, or you might have to miss part of your lifts. And now that's time that you can't get back because you just lost because of the decision you made and how your hydrating was leading up to that specific time. Now, as you're going from this 3 hours to 4 hours to less than 30, 60 minutes before the game starts, you're continuously checking to see where your hydration level is via the color of your pee to hopefully you're in a good position. Now, again, we're trying to include some type of electrolyte beverage. It could be an electrolyte packet. For example, it could be a Gatorlyte, or it could be a drip drop, or it could be a Right Stuff that you could add in with your water or your fluid. It could be a Gatorade, a Gatorlyte ready to drink, Gatorade Endurance, It could be any of the Powerade, Body Armor, BioSteel. Again, there's lots of options out there. Again, stick to the one that works best for you. You typically don't have any issues with. It tastes good, and it puts you feeling in a good position physically and mentally before your game. Now, as we get into the specific game, every sport's going to be different, right? You might have soccer where you're out on the pitch for 45 minutes straight and you don't get a timeout or a break. Maybe once in a while if there's a stoppage. It may be football where you're out for a series, you're out there X amount of minutes, you come off the field. So you might have more frequent opportunity to get something to drink. So the length of your quarter or half or what sport you're in is probably going to determine how often you're going to be able to get a drink of some type of fluid, whether that's water or some type of electrolyte beverage. Now you can see again the amount of fluids you get in during those periods of time where you do have breaks, right? We want to sip the fluid. We don't want to chug the fluid. So if we down a whole bunch of fluid at one time and have to go out there, it may cause you to feel nauseous or sick. So we're sipping on that fluid so our body can handle how much is coming down, and we're taking in small amounts or batches at one time so that way our body can handle and adjust the amount of fluid that's coming in. If you have the opportunity to get fluid in every 15 to 20 minutes, again, that's just a common recommendation. It may be more frequent than that. It may be you better make sure you're hydrated leading up to the game, because if you're playing soccer, you're going to be out there 45 minutes. I'm not going to get a break until halftime, and that's when I'm going to be able to rehydrate and get more fluid in. So these are all just general guidelines. Depending on your sport, what you do, what feels best to you, these things can be tweaked or changed a little bit. There's no like finite, absolutely, you have to drink this many ounces and do it within this amount of time. But at least if you have some type of guideline or thought process or plan or protocol going into that event based off of how much your body needs fluid wise, how heavy of a sweater you are, what's the environment like? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it humid? All these are going to be factors that's going to change basically your plan and how you approach your hydration. But if you at least have that down pat and have a general idea of what you're going into, you're going to be a lot more prepared for those specific situations and know what to do when you have those different environmental or different factors that are going to happen around you. You at least can control what you do from your specific end. Hope you guys learned something today. Again, if you're interested in nutrition services, hit up my links below in my bio. Always open to help people with their sleeping, their fueling, their hydrating, and just overall helping you improve your performance so you can get to the next level. Thanks, guys.